Thank you all for attending this webinar. As we said, it's the first look at our IntelliWizards for PowerWeb. I'm Jennifer. If you didn't know that, she introduced me. It's great. I love these things. I'm so excited to do this webinar because it's a lot of cool things that I want to show you. So first, we'll do a little bit of PowerPoint, everybody's favorite thing. And we're going to cover a quick overview of Hagerman and Company and Accruent, nothing giant, just a little blurb. We're going to do a quick overview of what IntelliWizards are. There are some people on this call that have never been exposed to them before, and a refresher for some of our existing customers that are also on here. And then I'm going to do a live demonstration of the product, and then we'll have some Q&A time. So it should be fairly exciting. I'm so excited to do this finally with you all. We've been working on this for a very long time. Real quick, Hagerman and Company. We have been in business for over 40 years. Constant ownership and management. We have offices across the country. We have 30+ years of data document management experience, 20+ with Meridian. We've done, I think this number keeps rising, so over 1,200 successful projects with document management. We offer multiple systems. We focus on Meridian for what I do, and we also offer Vault and Adept, Synergist Adept. So we have a variety of systems to meet our customer needs. And we also have specified document management focus teams. We have the campus higher ed group, which I'm a part of. We have discrete manufacturing specialists, industrial facilities, AEC, and EPC teams that can all focus on your specific document management needs. Again, I'm Jennifer. I've been with Hagerman and Company for about 5 years, and I work with clients to provide technical options for solving the challenges related to document management to meet your existing or desired business processes. So I have extensive knowledge and background in facilities management in higher ed, architecture and design, construction. I have a little bit of plant experience, so overall I can really dig into your projects and help you scope out how you want to use Meridian and solve your document management issues. Accruent, we are a business partner of Accruent. We sell Meridian, they're the owners of it. IntelliWizards are a Hagerman product that we built and have been engineered to work with Meridian as an add-on, which we'll talk about in a moment. And our primarily focus at Hagerman with Accruent, with their vast array of products, is Meridian and maintenance connection. So if you have needs for those, talk to us at Hagerman. Now let's get to why everybody signed up for this webinar. What are IntelliWizards? There's a lot of mystery around this, and first thing that pops into my head, being a little bit of a geeky gal, is Gandalf the Grey. He's an intelligent wizard, right? Well, here he is using Meridian on his laptop because he needs to do some maintenance and he needs to find some documentation. Anyway, IntelliWizards are an add-on product for Meridian Power. It's a collection of configurable tools or wizards to align with each customer's unique needs. There's an import wizard. So when you import a document into the system by drag and drop or using the tools provided to you through Meridian, it's a quick entry of metadata properties. They consistently apply the business requirements that we've scoped out for your configuration. The file path and the file name are automatically calculated from the metadata according to your standards, again, during the scoping process. And it's an easy way to describe the documents consistently, validating the input and leveraging data from other systems of record, such as locations management systems, maintenance management systems, and project management systems. There's a derived promote wizard in the product. This allows for copy to project and retaining metadata properties, say from a template in your administrative document type. If you have a template for a contract, you can easily start at that document and click a couple buttons, copy to project. It retains metadata if we've configured it that way, so that you always start with the latest and greatest in your project file. This also can be used for concurrent engineering in a project sense where you're starting with a sustaining or a master CAD file of a building or a plant or a layout that you want to use in a project and then promote back to update that sustaining document. We won't go into depth on that one for this demonstration. We're still working the kinks out on some of the details on that one. The Metadata Quality Assurance Wizard is also part of this package. This flags documents when any changes are made to the metadata, and it tracks reviewing the data for quality assurance. In other words, they are really magical. I believe this is one of the best products I've seen to aid in the assistance of entering documents consistently with the greatest metadata quality you can have. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, the live demonstration. Before we begin this, a couple things I want to explain or clarify. That I'm going to be doing this demo on PowerWeb. Meridian PowerWeb has been around for quite a while. It's the application of Meridian where you can go through the web to your power user type layout instead of on your desktop. You can use it through Chrome, Edge, and Firefox, and there are slight variations between the three just due to browser agnosticism. I'll be using Chrome, and there's some variables in performance because you are on the web. So for me, patience is a virtue. Being a very fast double clicker doesn't always work well in the web. So there's some nuances to this. But a lot of customers have been using PowerWeb without IntelliWizards for quite a while. And it's a very stable product. And we're excited to have the IntelliWizards so close to being implemented all the way for all of our customers. This is a template vault that I'm going to be demonstrating on. It may, and often does, differ from customer to customer. We go through a scoping process to really make these work for what your business needs are and your language, such as what your projects are called, what your buildings are called, if it's a building or a property or a location or an entity, things like that. So this is a template environment. I will not be reviewing all of the functionality of PowerWeb specifically, other than IntelliWizard interactions for this demonstration. So if you want a little bit of training on PowerWeb itself, let us know. We can set something up, do a demo, and kind of go into a little more depth. For our existing IntelliWizard customers in attendance, we will be coordinating with you about upgrading to this new product in the near future. A large quantity of the functionality that most of you have is included in this, and it works with your existing configuration files. So I know that was going to be some questions along the way or on the end. What about us? So I want to just let you know we're beginning those calls now to start coordinating with all of you that are on the phone. Without further ado, let's start. All right, so this is PowerWeb, just for those of you that are used to Power User. I know I said I wasn't going to go into detail, but PowerWeb looks a lot like your Power User client if you're not used to it. We are going to focus on IntelliWizards. So we're going to enter a few documents, few test documents, if you will, so I can show you different scenarios and give you context behind some of the functionality that is in the product itself. We're going to start with the Higher Education Template Vault. This is a facilities management template that we've come up with for higher ed specific groups or for facility management in general. We do have another template that we can use for demonstrations for a plant environment with IntelliWizards, but all of the functionality and the concepts are the same. So we're going to stick with this one, and we're going to start with projects. A lot of higher ed institutions use Meridian primarily for project documentation, which is sometimes in the form of archives, but sometimes it is current during a project, like ongoing project management system type things. So in PowerWeb, I'm going to pretend that I need to import a document. This is a little different. You can drag and drop right on the screen as well. This is all PowerWeb specific. It asks you, where do you want to put it? Everybody should be familiar with this. And give it a moment. Oh, goodness sakes. There we go. My connectivity might be lagging a little bit because I am in this meeting, in this presentation. It does tend to slow things down when you're presenting. So this is what our IntelliWizards look like. For those of you that are already customers, should feel very familiar. We did not reinvent the wheel on everything. We're going to cover what this wizard is, and it's similar to the property pages of Meridian. I will cover these top buttons up here toward the end after we do a few test runs. But there's tabs on this wizard that you can easily start filling out properties, metadata, anywhere you'd like. You can start on the notes page. You can start on the general page. Some things are hierarchical and codependent on other entries. So if you start on the asset page, for example, you're going to get an error, primarily because you didn't select a building, so it has no idea. We'll cover that in a second. Red is required information. These are lookup lists that you pick on these and it takes you to another window. It also indicates in the box with a red exclamation point that the data is missing. You'll see this in a few places. And I want you to pay attention to some of the text on the left-hand side here on some of the boxes, such as this one. This is the project document that we're bringing in, and this is important. This project source, IntelliWizards, allows you to pick different sources of project information. As you can see, I clicked the lookup list icon, and I can select from 3 different lists of project types, if you will, or project systems. So in some cases, users have more than one capital system because they started with one system and then changed to another, and we can keep all those here in perpetuity for your reference later. It's on the documents. So if it was say you went from famous to AIM, you would have a capital famous module and a capital AIM module, and you'd be able to pick from one of those to make your project. So in this case, I'm going to pretend that this is a capital project document I'm putting in. And when I pick this source, it says project here. Now, if I pick work order, for example, it changes here so that you know you're picking work order, and it changes the list, the contents of the list. Click on that real quick. So notice this is more work order-like information. If I go back to capital, and I click this lookup list icon here to source it from my capital projects list that is coming from, in this case, it's coming from AIM. That's the management system for their capital projects in this template version. So this information is getting fed from AIM nightly and updated in the SQL tables that support Meridian. So it's current. If somebody added a project yesterday, it will show on this list today. A couple of really cool things about this list are the filters, the filter properties up here, and pagination. A lot of universities have thousands of projects, maybe more than thousands in some lists, and you can paginate these by saying how many you want to scroll through, and it'll tell you which page you're on over here as you get more. This shows a little better when you have a really long list, but again, template vault. These are pretty awesome, these filters at the top. Focus on the date one because I find this one of the most amazing filters. And you can either just pick the whole year, or you can cascade and pick January of 2019, and it'll filter by that. I love this filter. You can also pick it on a calendar if you know the exact date. I find that a little cumbersome because it is exact date and it probably won't find anything. But the date one, this filter is really cool because you can pick a range if you'd like as well. This is handy also if you want to check more than one building. You know that this you're searching for a project, but you're not sure which building is the primary key. You know that it was a project that included 2 buildings. You can filter by 2 buildings. You can filter by more than 1 building. I think that's pretty cool. You can also use the bar at the top. Now the default is contains, but you can also use all of these to search with. If you want an exact match or play with this a little bit, it's awesome. But if I'm in here, if the default is contains, and I start typing, I can find all the things that contain repair. It's pretty fancy. I love this at the top. This is an exciting new thing that we added to the product if you're a power user IntelliWizards person, because you can also come in and say, well, I think it was one of these, and I'm not sure, but you can filter by those. It's pretty flippin' amazing if you ask me. For now, I'm going to go in and search by this building. Oh, yep, this is the one I want instead of endlessly scrolling. And notice that it fills out all of this information on this page for you. It retrieves the project information and puts in the saved location data that comes along with that project so that you don't have to enter it. You don't have to enter the project number, the project manager, the description, any of the data that is project specific from that source of record. It comes along for the ride, saving you clicks. Get into this wizard, the next piece of the demonstration. It's pretty fancy as well. I'm going to move on to the general tab, and this is where we describe what the piece of paper is. So it's a contract, it's a drawing, it's what is it? And we have a concept in IntelliWizards of responsible groups where we can group your departments and filter things like their classification lists specific to what they need. You can also set security this way. There's a variety of things we use this for. But for now, I am part of the construction and planning services group, so it defaults to that based on who I am. Then you pick your classification. And you'll notice for a moment what this wizard looks like as a whole. It looks like discipline is required at this point, sheet number, typical things that you would enter on a project document. Maybe, right? Maybe you'll do it, maybe you won't. But on the classification list, notice again, filters here, pagination. It's on all lookup lists have this, but I'm going to put in a submittal. And it's a design development submittal. I'm going to say okay. Notice the page looks the same, except this file suffix disappeared. This is part of how we configure IntelliWizards to meet your business needs. Some things require certain information, some things don't. In this case, a drawing or a DD set, we require a discipline. We require that you pick a discipline. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to say it's architectural, and it's also electrical, and it has a little bit of general because it's a really small project and it's one of those sheets that has a lot of information on it. You can pick multi-values. IntelliWizards allows for a multi-value pick. You must pick a primary. because in some cases it's part of the file name or the folder structure. And this will be easily shown, but when you go to Explorer or use the search tools within Meridian, you can search architectural, electrical, or general, and this document will pop up. Gone are the days of it's electrical with a little bit of architectural, and I had to make a note, so I have to search a text field. You can search a metadata property multiple. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out some of this stuff. And notice security level defaults for you. You can always change this. We can set this on many things, but I'm gonna not fill in one of these boxes and click on this file name button. As I mentioned, IntelliWizards generates your file name for you based on your metadata properties. Oh, I'm missing a value. It won't let me do it because I'm missing this value. And this is how we scope and configure and decide how your naming convention is going to work. You can change the revision to whatever you'd like with your revision schema. It defaults at 0. You can also add asset information if that's part of what you want to do. And if I hit this lookup list, there's, again, test environment. You would have probably thousands of pieces of equipment coming from your maintenance management system tied to that building. And you can easily filter again to pick what you need if it's a specific piece of equipment you want to have saved metadata property-wise on your document. And this is by building. So you won't see anything but equipment for this building, whatever your primary building is. File name, I'm gonna go ahead. We also give you the ability to have a notes page, and we capture the original file name when you do a drag and drop. This is important because sometimes your AEs reference the file name and you're not really sure what Meridian configured it to be, so you can easily do a search. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this one. Again, patience is a virtue on the web. There's a few refreshes that have to happen. It does some magic in the background before it puts it in the folder structure where it's supposed to go. For our existing IntelliWizard customers, we caution you against the folder structure and to use navigation views, which in PowerWeb, they're still there. Navigation views still work. But in this arena for this demo, I'm just gonna hang out in this cryptic folder structure that we create. So notice this document, where it's supposed to be, standard Meridian information. The properties are over here that you can see the IntelliWizard properties that you put in. There's a couple regular Meridian default pages on here that you can click through. There's that document one that you usually see first, where you can see where the status is and some of the other standard Meridian things. But the IntelliWizard metadata is right here for you to tab through. Easily visible. I'm gonna just leave that there for a moment. I'm not gonna go through the whole workflow. All of you, if you don't know Meridian, you release the document all the way into the system and finish it out that way. That was a capital project. I am now going to do this one more time, a slightly different way, but I am going to enter a document for a legacy project because there's some really cool features that we have for IntelliWizards that allow you to manage lists of documents that aren't coming from a project source. So in this case, a legacy project here is something that was prior to any system. It's your old archives. Maybe it was, before they ever really had systems, it's just a random number, things like that. But this legacy list can be managed within Meridian if you have the role to do that in Meridian. It's all set by who you are and whether or not you have access. But if I come through this legacy project list now, I found an old document on some project manager's desk that retired, were cleaning out his office, and I found a set of documents that I need to put into Meridian because I'm not sure they're there. You use the Meridian filters to make sure it's not there first. That's what I would do. Make sure somebody didn't enter the project. Same with any other list you're doing. But you can add a record right through Meridian. And you can add a legacy project. And this wizard's similar. The red is required. This is all optional information. We try to make all of the information projects need, any project, similar in a way. So you might not have project status or a phase on these legacy projects, but you do in your live system. So we try to match them up. I know this isn't very. And I'm going to go back in time, January. That's a pretty cool calendar feature, if I must say so, is that you can drill into different places. Project title, renovation. I don't know, everybody's watching me type. That's when you can't type anything. And these pick lists, you can still enter information if you need to, but notice it defaulted to inactive and closed because it's a legacy project. Nobody's doing active work on this. You can pick your project manager if you'd like. This comes from a list that I'll touch on in a moment as well, if we configured it this way. I'm going to say that this is a Don Hodges project, for those of you on the call that know him. He would not manage a project like this, but I'm going to make him do it anyway. Now here's the locations information that I mentioned I was going to show you. This is the same format that's on the wizard itself. And so on the project, you're going to tag or select the location that this project is taking place. And so this box might seem different for some of you on this call. You don't have this particular wizard on your Power user instance, so it might be new to you, but it's a very slick, sophisticated way of making sure you can select the right locations. So you can double click from this list over here. This starts region, facility, property, and floor. This is specific to this configuration that we're kind of using as our template. But I'm going to just double click main campus, and it's going to give me these other options for what is it? Like they drilled down into this many levels. And I'm going to say it's campus buildings. Double click it. Notice it's populating a tree over here, kind of hanging out. And I can come through, here's that pagination one more time, and I can say, well, I'm really looking for an athletic. I'm going to pick the field house. I'm going to double click that, and then it's going to take me to the floors that are available. I can select more than one. You can highlight and add, or you can double click. If you want to double click, this will also take you, in this case, down to the room level. If they have any kind of rooms indicated that they want to be able to use in Meridian. I'm just going to add one. Now, in this case here, I haven't checked any of the boxes. I hit OK. And in this configuration, I'm only required to go to the building level anyway. So this project is happening on both of these floors, and specifically this room on this floor, but it's not really a primary. It's almost equal. If you had a project that was on both of these and you wanted to say most of the action happens on the first floor, you can set that as your default here. You can also say, oh, I didn't mean to pick that, and you can remove it. And you can start again and say it's more than one building, because you don't have projects that ever touch more than one building. And you highlight, if you want to go back, you highlight the level you want to go back to and hit this filter button, and it filters you back to the next level. Again, I'll just try to keep consistent. Usually I just randomly pick things, but we'll pick this building as well. You can either hit the add button if you want to keep adding buildings. If you want to go to the next level, double clicking. But you always have to pick a primary building. So that's the key to knowing your configuration when we talk about it. This one will be, its primary building is the field house, the first floor. There's also some stuff here, but you can always find it with the metadata properties. And notice it shows on here. I'm going to save this because I created this project. I want to save the document that I've started to enter. because remember, I'm bringing a document in, adds it to the list and highlights it so that you can easily just pick it. And again, it populates it here. Now I created the project, and the project has all this information, but this particular document doesn't apply to this activities building at all. So if that's the case, remember the project brings in all of the information, then you can actually specify at a document level that it's actually for this PE activities building, or another piece of information that isn't even on the project level. You can add, be more specific and add as much or as little information as you'd like as to the location. Pretty slick. But this legacy document, I want you to pay attention this time to this discipline. It's a drawing set. It's actually, let's go in here. It's actually a closeout document. And it's the equipment labeling in this. We'll go to final punch list. It's a final punch list that I found. This is the first document I'm entering of that packet. Notice now discipline is not required, but this magically reappeared for your file suffix. In some configurations, the file suffix gets added to the file name because it's a tiebreaker in case you have more than one final punch list. So notice the file name here if I add to the file suffix, it automatically adds it. This is all configurable. It's part of your configuration. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save on this legacy document. If you remember, I found a few documents for this project. So now I'm going to review those buttons at the top, or at least one of the buttons at the top. So I've entered the first document. I have a second document that I came across, and I'm going to enter this new document. Well, I can come in here and I'm just going to drag and drop that second one. You can drag and drop multiple, and all the wizards will fire as well in case someone has that question at the top of their head. You can drag and drop multiple, and it will fire the IntelliWizard for every document and do all of the things that I just showed you. For simplification purposes, I'm doing one at a time. Again, which doc type does it go to? Your experience will be slightly faster than mine, but I know that it's similar to the document I just entered. So in this case, I can click current selection, and it will have a glitch. Of course it will. It will pretend. Oh, it went to that. Love live demos. Practiced this morning. Suddenly it's not working. This is why this is in beta testing right now, is that sometimes the web does funny things to us. And it's still looking at the wrong table. Ah, shoot. Cancel. Yes. Apologies, folks. Let me refresh. Again, the web sometimes does funny things. Pay no attention to the magic happening behind the scenes. We might have doesn't work the second time. Try again. All right, let's go a different way. Well, same way, but a different way. Okay. Pick the wrong doc type. See, even I make mistakes. All right. Okay, let's try this again. This current selection button should take all of the metadata from this document and populate it on the wizard for you. And I think it's doing a few. Somehow I broke something. But notice it's picking all the metadata here that I put in. And then if you were to try to finish the wizard with the same exact metadata, it will flag you and stop you and say, nope, there's a file already in the system with this name and this data. You have to break the tie. And then you would use that file suffix place to maybe break the tie, or you would change the key metadata properties because maybe it's not another punch list. Cancel. Let me new. Let me talk to the other buttons at the top of the wizard for a moment. Notice there's these buttons here as well. If you are entering quite a few documents and you don't want to keep picking the same classification and discipline, say your project, you're tasked with bringing in like a bunch of the same type of thing. Maybe your DD sets page sheets. That would be a good example. You're breaking down and bringing in each page of the construction documents. So you can set some of these values. You can set the project. Just pick that one. You can pick the project information. You can pick any of these values you'd like, and you can save. I know this for younger people, nobody knows what this is. Click the floppy disk to save these as your defaults just for you. And you can say yes, because then the next time you want to bring in a document, for that project or for that type, you can say my defaults and it will populate what you saved. And then you can just add the 2 or 3 things. Quick shortcut that IntelliWizard offer. It's pretty cool when you're dragging and dropping and doing those items that maybe you have 5 of the same. It might save you a couple clicks. In the long run, that adds up. If by chance you clicked my defaults and you didn't mean to, you can click system defaults and it'll reset your wizard back to that default status. And if you want to clear your default back to this, hit this save button again and it'll clear it out. You can only have 1 my defaults at a time. So keep that in mind if you're going to utilize this button here, is that it's the whatever you did last. As you then move through and you say, nope, this is going to be for this project, save your defaults and it'll overwrite the other one so that you can easily click this button for that project or that information that you saved. This help button at the top, we are working on IntelliWizards specific help items that will be live here. When you push this button, you'll be able to go and do some IntelliWizards specific help instead of the standard Meridian help, which is still available on PowerWeb anyway. But we have not had the opportunity to offer the IntelliWizard help specifics, and now we're going to be able to do that. I'm going to cancel this wizard. Okay. I'm still on this document here, and as I'm reviewing, oh, I forgot to add an asset, which I'm not in a building that has one, so I'll have to add that. I have the wrong location, I typed something wrong. Whatever it is, I need to fix the metadata. There are 3 options to do this. The first option, and I didn't touch on this, is this IntelliWizards menu at the top. This is where IntelliWizards specific functions are found. For our existing customers, in the Power user, they're embedded within these drop-down menus, and with the web, we had to come up with a new way to do it. So they're all here. So if it's an IntelliWizard function, it's going to be in this menu. So I can edit properties here. I can also right click. I did right click, but if I do it more than once, I'm afraid it's going to lock up something. My goodness. There is a right click menu that looks similar to this, and it says an IWizard, and it'll pop up here when I'm done explaining it. There's a third way, and that's the Meridian way. Meridian allows you on your property pages without IntelliWizards to edit over here in your property page. In this case, if I'm on the IntelliWizard page, I can click edit or not, depending on how many clicks I did and locked up the system. Please click here is what we should say. Apparently I locked it up again. One moment. Don't think it likes the GoToMeeting interaction with my Chrome. All right, let's try this again. If I right click, there we go, right click menu. IntelliWizards, you can see there's these sections, there's that help again. We'll talk about administration in a moment, but the document property here, you can edit properties here and it'll launch the wizard. Show you that one. It'll launch the wizard so you can come in and you can edit. Maybe I need to add a discipline. Do that and something here. And I can add metadata properties to the document there. We'll refresh on the right so that you can see that, yep, I added architectural and something here. You can also edit in place. Instead of launching the wizard again, you can edit in place here. If I wanted to then delete that, and I am going to change the classification. I'm going to change something that's part of the file name so that you can see how that works. So I've changed it to a bid document and it's architectural. Notice it blanked out other information because now you're not describing the same document. It wants you to be more specific in your description. If you hit apply, it will apply the changes and it'll give you this box that pops up saying, are you sure you want to do this? Because this is going to change a couple things. Do you still want to? I'm saying, yeah, because I made a mistake, oopsie. But if I hit apply, I'm still in edit mode, okay? So I can apply it, but I'm still in the edit mode here. You're finally out of edit mode when you hit save, and it will now tell you, okay, you changed something that's going to change the folder where this file resides. Are you sure? So it gives you prompts to say that you're changing metadata properties that are tied to key values that control folders and names. If you'll notice, it's now renamed and in the right place. That's how you edit properties on the document. We have one more piece, and that is the lists that I mentioned. There's a way, when I added that legacy project, there are ways you can add and manage lists within Meridian through the interface here. In this case, I have a people list and a legacy project, which I already demonstrated, which you can manage things. For example, I'll go back to the legacy project. I added this new project that Dawn did, but I realized, oh man, I really needed to be more specific here, or I want to add something. You can modify the entry. If you hit the pencil, this is how you modify. Maybe I want to specify a type. This is a tenant improvement. Save. And then it modifies it. here. If you wanted to view all the properties that you entered on that project, you can view that from this page here. Notice you can't edit anything. There's no lookup list. That's all grayed out, except for we can't gray that for some reason, but you can view it. View the project information here to make sure it's the right one or that you entered the right thing. The other piece that we allow you to do, if you have the right security and role, is to delete things out of these lists. We go through training on it and philosophy and what not to do, but I'm going to delete this project. It brings it up one more time so I can make sure that it's the right information, and I can say delete and it takes it off of here. It will not check and see if there are documents already tied to that project. That is a wish list item that I've added for our programmers, but you can do all that here from this administer lists page. And that is based on your configuration on what we configure for you. In this case, we have a people list and we can indicate that they're a project manager so that when you're creating that legacy project, they show up in the list of people you can pick. Kind of handy. Same buttons here. Again, based on your role and security in the system. Derive, promote, I said I wasn't going to go into in detail, but in this case, in this configuration, you can take a template administrative document and you can copy to project from there, and it will retain certain properties and copy the document to the project. Similar concept for concurrent engineering in our plant vault. Oh, goodness sakes. So we've come to the end of the slightly contentious demo with the internet here, and I'll open it up to questions. Please use the chat box. If we don't have time to get to all of them, I will address them separately. Either everyone's furiously typing. Thank you, Glenn. I'm excited too. So excited. Like I said, those filter buttons are amazing. Any other questions? If you think of them later, let us know. Again, to our existing customers, we will be scheduling time with you independently. For those of you who have never seen these before, please reach out to us. You can contact us through the web. I think that's part of Ashley's spiel at the end, so she'll let you know how to get in touch with us. There, everyone's just flabbergasted or furiously typing long questions. Or I did such an awesome job that I answered all your questions. I'm going to go with that one. All right, well, thanks everybody. I guess we'll hang out and see if there's any more questions. Ashley, I will turn it back over to you.
Okay, well, thanks, Jennifer, for the presentation. Thank you all for attending. If you do think of additional questions, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you receive from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Jennifer or your sales rep to get your questions answered. Once again, if you could take a few moments to fill out the short survey, we would appreciate it. It'll just pop up as we close down. Also, look out for that email tomorrow, which will contain a link for the recording of the presentation. Thank you for attending and have a great day, everyone.